Thank you. Thanks for coming. I'm Veronica, Cano. I'm the Scholarly Communications Officer at the College of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences within the University of Edinburgh.
And I'm Nick Hussin, and I'm currently the Research Information Systems Manager at the University of Edinburgh. But yeah, Veronica's going to start off. Thanks.
We are going to talk about implementing CRediT in the University of Edinburgh in a pure. So I'll just introduce CRediT, describe what it is, and why we are talking about it right now, and then I'll pass on to Nick, who will talk about the technical aspects of the implementation. So the complex side will be Nick. So CRediT, for those that are not familiar with it, is a contributor role taxonomy. It's high-level taxonomy that includes 14 roles that typically represents contributions of authors to a research output. The roles describe each specific contribution to each author to a research project or a research output. Research projects are a team effort, so CRediT kind of like represents the variety of all the contributions that can go behind a publication. We currently capture these contributions alongside the author list or in the acknowledgement section, but what CRediT does is it offers an easier, really, and a more efficient way of capturing these contributions. So these are the 14 roles specified by CRediT. So you have things like data analysis and visualization, or programming, supervision. The University of Edinburgh promotes a very positive culture. So, for example, at my college, the College of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, we have a research ethics framework, which always tries to ensure that everyone that is involved in our research process is valued and is acknowledged. So we do this via principles of respect, honesty, integrity, objectivity, accountability, and openness. And as you can see, using CRediT is actually a way of enabling all these principles. So this is an example of the use of CRediT in a specific journal. So this is PLOS ONE. This is just one of the publishers that uses CRediT. There's loads more at the moment. There's over 100 publishers that have started using CRediT. So you can see that by clicking on the author, you get the CRediT description of what that author has contributed to that journal. This is the same article, and this is the about the author section. So you can see, and this is important because it will come up later, but you can see that authors can fulfill more than one role of CRediT. So why, as an institution, we are thinking about implementing CRediT now in our institutional repository? There's several reasons. We adopted the UK Research Integrity Office, or UCRIO, Code of Practice of Research, which actively supports CRediT. It states that no person that fulfills the criteria of authorship should be excluded from the final publication. Also states that all authors should take responsibility for the accuracy of the article itself. As part of LERU, which is the League of European Research Universities, we also abide by the ALIA European Code of Conduct for Integrity, which also mentions that authors should include an author contribution statement in the final publication. And also, last year in 2023, the university launched a research cultures action plan and delivery plan, and it has an action point to develop a fair publication policy across the university. This is being drafted at the moment. We are hoping for it to be ready at the beginning of 2025, but it has a full section on CRediT and the use of CRediT by our academics. Also, CRediT is becoming more prominent amongst publishers, amongst funders as well. There's also some funders like Wellcome Trust or Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that have included it in the repository as well. So we kind of like have internal policies, we have external codes of conduct and codes of practice that we are abiding for. And we need to be able to reflect these in our repositories. So I'm going to pass to Nick now for the complex part.
I don't know about that because So can people hear me? Okay, very good, thank you. So CRediT's not new, it's been around for some time, and it was used quite largely. I think, I was just advised by Gemma that it's been used as well for REF 2021, and it's something that we want to start documenting and recording in our pure CRIS system. This is part of the university-wide fair publication policy that Veronica mentioned earlier. So it's an action point that we want to take forward as well. So we've got 3 options for recording credit in Pure. One is to use the contributor role. The other is to use the author contribution description or the author contribution note, right? Now, contributor roles, you can add to the classification using the taxonomy roles in CRediT, and you can have that for each person as well. So you can have it associated with each contributor. You can use a controlled vocabulary for adding it into the contributor roles, so people will be selecting it rather than typing it in. I'm a librarian. I love controlled vocabularies. I do not like free text fields. I hate them. Right? So anything that has controlled vocabulary, love it. It's reportable because it's in the role, right? So you can pull it out. Now, the cons for this is you cannot add multiple roles. And as Veronica showed you earlier, you cannot, CRediT allows you to have multiple roles, right, for the publication. And it's not displayed on the Pure portal. So it's not good. So it's good, but it's not good enough, right? And then author contribution description. We've not enabled this at all in Pure, right? But you can enable it in Pure, and you have this for every single author. So you could put in the author contribution description field in the author. Now, the pros for this, again, you can associate this with each contributor. You can add multiple roles, but then it's a free text field. Again, right? Free text field, danger zone. It's not reportable. It's not displayed on a Pure portal. So good, but not good enough still. And then you've got the author contribution note where you can add in a customized field. So you add into the bibliographic note field in the research output record. You can do that. And I know that some places have done that. I think Strathclyde are thinking of doing that as well, University of Strathclyde in Glasgow. You can add in multiple roles. You can report on this field. But it is a free text field, and it's not associated with each contributor because it's on the research output record. So you would have to name each author and then the roles. So it's a bit more labor intensive, I would say. And again, it's not displayed on the Pure portal, right? Which is why we haven't done it. Because we can't decide which is the best way, which is the best out of this lot, 3 options, basically. We can have multiple roles to each associated contributor. You can add it at different publication stages as well if you record it in Pure, right? So you can have it at submission stage. So if you're thinking of submitting a paper, you've submitted a paper, you can edit then. And so it's good. It can be edited by contributors themselves. We don't necessarily have to have the intervention of administrators to do it. Editors or contributors can do it themselves. And you can edit retrospectively as well, so that's good. I mean, you've got Pure, you're recording research outputs by the thousands already, so why not do it in Pure? But it's not automated. And if you are in a big institution and you've got hundreds of thousands of outputs or thousands of outputs created every month or every quarter, it's just not practical to do it if it's not automated. And you need to be able to report it because you want to, as I was saying earlier to colleagues, once you put it in, you want to put it out, right? And then make it meaningful and reportable. And it's not displayed on the Pure portal as well because the Pure portal, you want to show how good you are, right? And if you're not going to show how good you are on the Pure portal, what's the use? It's going to be hidden away. I mean, it's got some use because you can report on it, but you can't even report on it. So it's not great. So, but we need to do it somehow. So this is where I'm glad it's not a very big group. Right? Because I've got some questions for you, right? We are thinking about it. Who has done it already? So the first question in the poll, which is in the app, so instead of saying the question is who has, could you answer yes or no if you have implemented credit at your institution? You're interested in, yes, with like, brilliant. When it's yeah, but you'd like to, because it's a good thing, isn't it? It's an agreement here. It's a good thing. It gives people the right acknowledgement for their contribution. It acknowledges more than just the traditional concept of authorship, right? So it's a good thing. Yes, no, good. So the question two, now, we won't bother with the poll. Don't worry about the poll, because I think the third question is just to think about a discussion here. Okay, so this is why the small group is good. What do you think is the best way? So I've shown you 3 options, right? Yes?
I think your option 1 is the best one.
Okay.
And ask your team just to change the few modifications needed. That should be relatively simple. And my question to you is, did you consider to feed credit roles from Scopus into Pure then somehow?
Yes, yes, yes. So this is a question for Elsevier, because we did ask Elsevier, we did ask them. And we did say, we are thinking of putting this into into Pure. And we're going to use the roles, the first option, which is to put it into author roles, right? Because we thought you can do it there. Now, the modifications is you would have to enable multiple roles for that.
Yeah.
But then it's reportable, right? So that's one ticked off. You need to add multiple roles, and then you need it to be displayed in the Pure portal, right? Now, we were advised that they were planning to implement CRediT.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we followed up with a question to say, yes, great, when and how? Nothing. Yes, yeah, exactly. So good. I mean, this is recorded. This is recorded. This is good. This is why we thought, we'll do this session, because then it's a direct question to them, right? And it's not just us, because obviously you are all interested as well, right? But there was sorry.
Can I just add a little something? I'm from Amsterdam, Netherlands, just Korean from Amsterdam. We did some pilots.
Okay.
Also, one was considering credits. They were analyzing about 30,000 or so articles.
Yeah.
Seeing how many credit roles were attributed, and a large percentage of those articles were indeed reporting, and they were seeing, okay, so there's a use case, a proper use case.
Brilliant. Excellent.
So I think that perhaps if we push a little bit more together, it shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah, and we're currently, so we also received institutional data.
Yes.
We're currently analyzing that, so how useful it is.
Brilliant.
Using the IDs that were provided by Elsevier. So this is all under the Elsevier open science pilots that we have in the Netherlands.
Excellent.
But we never came to the part where you are, so we're really glad. Because then where to put it, right?
Yeah.
I think also first option with some modifications.
But you have a question in return.
Yes.
To whom are you going to report?
Well, so one of the use cases was what Gemma from Southampton really advised on earlier. So if we do submit to the REF, well, of course we're going to submit to the REF 2029. In the UK, we have this exercise every 7 years that drives everybody absolutely mental for 7 years. Now, if we do submit, when we do submit to that, and then there is an audit process after that as well. So we might get audited after that, and we have to say that. But also, if we are going to measure our performance against our research cultures delivery plan, that could be something that we'll report against as well. Okay, so who are we reporting to? Would be to senior management, but also to college research committees, school research committees, and also to get more involvement and participation acknowledged in the research process.
Well, sorry to interrupt, if I'm disturbing your...
No, not at all, not at all.
I tried to go to the HR department, because they were talking that we have to verify, to variate on scientific careers. I said, okay, this might be a use case for you guys, ladies. And then I said, what are you talking about? They said, okay, it's pretty easy. We can make reports saying that researcher X is very good in conceptualization. Perhaps he can't make it up to a professor level, but if you allow him to be junior conceptualization, senior conceptualization, you might have some start for variations in scientific careers. But so far we didn't get any proper response from them. Do you have similar ideas?
Well, you see, there's always the question that I get from the deans of research from different colleges as well as to how to encourage collaboration across colleges and across schools for research outputs, right? And you get people who are, the collaboration now is very much based on research topic or area or theme, right? Whereas if you use CRediT, then you get people who are getting involved in outputs who are not traditionally researchers, as it were. They could be technicians, they could be, people who can do visualizations, can do conceptualizations. And this is a possibility or potential, which I've spoken about to the deans of research, to say, this is a talent pool that is available within the university that you can tap into, but you don't know who's involved now because you don't have that data. And if you have that data and it's reportable, then you can make that available to the research community within the university, which is what I think, It's an idea. But again, we need to be able to record it and report it in a sensible way, somehow. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, no shouting. There's a fourth option as well, which is going down the route of custom field.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
Yeah.
And have you thought about, we don't have any custom fields, so I don't quite know what are the options, but that's something we were thinking of. And then I guess if you have busy tech people who can use Write API to write the data in those custom fields, that's a way to get around those integrations. Obviously, we would want it directly in Pure, but if we don't have it, if we can get the data from Scopus and then write it back, that might be something to look into.
That's very interesting. We don't have any custom defined fields in our Pure at the moment. We just haven't gone down that route at all. But it's an interesting option.
And maybe that's something that UK universities can explore. As one.
Yeah, because then we can enable it for everybody and then roll out to other institutions across. Outside to UK as well. But ideally, what we would want is something to be, importable into that field and then exportable as well. So through XMLs generated from the publisher side, for example, and then you can import it into this custom-defined field. So thanks, Tessa.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yes, we would want that. We also know that it will take time, right? And we know that with REF, we are about the journey and measuring benchmarking and where we are now, where will we in a few years. So I think it's something that we will be looking at fairly soon, hopefully. Yeah. I don't know where we will get to technically, but in terms of the drafting authorship guidelines, kind of introducing that, I think that goes hand in hand of there's no point of saying this is how we want you to do that if our systems can't meet.
Yes.
What we are advising people to do. So
yes.
we will need to find solution for that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, some of us still have the memory on trauma, shall we say, of panel A, each having to kind of justify their contributions to it. So if we can offset that and start that as early as possible, then it would be really, really very helpful. So, questions? Right. Okay. So that was the questions, really. But that was us. But thank you so much. I mean, I'm really happy to hear that there is interest in this. That people are thinking it's not a bad idea. It's a good idea. Actually, we need to implement it somehow. And hopefully, then this is the movement. Elsevier. This is a movement. To ask for this, Malina. This is a movement to ask for this automated integration to happen. Thank you very much. Thank you.